All right, so hey guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of MGC. It's the weekend. I'm trying to get myself some energy and actually tackle an important question in this video today, which is how often do you guys change your oil and your other fluids, and how often should you change these fluids? You know, what would I recommend? What's my opinion? And what do I do with my vehicle? So we'll get into the car stuff right away. But before that, you guys know I've been running some MG polls. These are those questions and sort of options that I'm giving you on the community side of the channel. And I've been asking some really cool questions, and you guys have been responding, and I've been getting some really good interaction. So really insightful answers, and yeah, gave me a lot to think about. So why don't we go through the polls right now on the channel and just round up this week's polls, and we'll sort of do that every week from now. So if you're enjoying the channels, if you're enjoying the regular uploads, you guys know I just do this as a hobby. But if you're enjoying, make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment down below, and support my company, which is Cheeky Treats, the snacks, which you can find in Carrefour and hundreds of other shops across the country. Alright guys, so here we are in the YouTube, the community side of it, and I asked you guys some questions, which we are now calling MG polls. First question was with the new Lexus and the Land Cruiser 300 series. Simple question, which one do you prefer more? And actually 48% chose the Lexus, 52% chose the Land Cruiser. So, you know, pretty even over there. Next question I asked was actually to do with transmission fluid. This is something I wonder all the time, and it's something that I've baffled with a lot of times. But I do agree with the general consensus. 59% said every 30,000 kilometers, just to be safe. The next question was to do with how often do you change your oil in your vehicle? Every 5,000, every 10,000, whenever it looks dirty, or just never. I'm glad the general consensus, 58% of you said every 5,000 kilometers. And that's something we're going to get into in this video, is what my opinion is on these oil changes and how often you should do them. The last question we got into was the Mercedes E-Class, the brand new one. And I just put it against the previous versions. Really quick, guys, before we actually get into the oil service and the intervals and how I like to do it, actually, I just wanted to take you through how oil is actually labeled. If some of you are not aware and you go to the petrol station and you're seeing oil and you're seeing all these numbers on those products and on all the cans, and you're not quite understand, and you're just asking the attendant, which oil should I put in my vehicle? Every vehicle has a specific oil that it's manufactured to use, and every oil is labeled in a specific number plus letter dash number. So that could be 5W30 or 5W40 or 20W40. Now basically what the W number means is the winter temperature. So this number, basically, if the number is smaller, that's going to mean that oil is a bit lighter, and that oil circulates much better at extreme temperatures, like say cold temperatures. A 5W30 or a 0W oil is gonna circulate much faster in the engine than a thicker kind of 20W oil. So the 5W tells you the sort of the winter operation. Now the good news here is that we're here in Nairobi, Kenya, so we have very fair temperature, very stable temperature, not a very big range in temperature, and no below zero degree temperature. So it's very favorable, so you don't have to worry too much about that first number. And then the second number is also to do with the weight of the oil. So as you get thicker, like if you go for a 10W40 oil, like how I use in my Land Cruiser 80 series, that's just a slightly thicker oil, because as a vehicle gets older, I tend to believe that it's better to use a slightly thicker oil, so that it doesn't leak through the seals, because a thinner oil might leak through some of those aged seals. But if you use a bit of a thicker oil, I tend to believe that the vehicle will not consume oil, and it'll be easier on the seals. So that's just a bit of quick information on how they label oil, just so you guys know this stuff, and yeah, we can take it from here. All right, so guys, why don't we get into the bulk of this video? Why don't we actually tackle the question that we're trying to tackle, which is how often should you change your oil? Now, I'm someone who, in the past, I would change it every 10,000 kilometers, and I would actually try and go of a bit of a bigger interval in the kilometers, like even stretching it to 12,000, 13,000 kilometers, because there is such a thing as high mileage oil, the sort of high mileage oils that are advertised, and they tell you to change it every 10,000 kilometers, every 10,000 miles actually. So I used to believe in those high mileage oils, and they cost a bit more, and then you use a bigger interval. But as I've grown older and as I've experienced my vehicles, I've sort of converted to the idea that fluids are fluids, and they operate and give the maximum efficiency within a certain interval of time. And so it's better to change them out more regularly. Now, some of my vehicles, like if some of you are not driving a lot of kilometers, you'll end up finding that we can say, why don't you change your oil every 7,000 kilometers just to be safe? But some of you might not even be doing 7,000 or 10,000 kilometers in a year. So then what do you do? Because I find what a lot of used car owners end up with is they understand that they should change their oil every 10,000 kilometers, but they don't understand that if you've not hit those 10,000 kilometers, but 12 months have passed, then you also still have a problem. You should actually stick to either changing your oil every 5 to 7,000 kilometers or every 6 months, whichever one comes first. Because oil that's just lying around and sitting for long is also losing its efficiency, and that can lead to the same sludge and issues in the long run. So I think fluids are fluids. They burn out, and their usefulness decreases over time. And so if you stick to oil services of every 5,000 kilometers and you're using a fully synthetic oil, now I don't want to be particularly wasteful. Some cars are really efficient, like my Land Cruiser Cygnus. What I like to do with that vehicle is that I think that the engine operates pretty well, and so after 5,000 kilometers, that oil is still looking like brand new. It's still silky and see-through. And so the Cygnus, I like to stick to 10,000 kilometers because I think that engine is a V8 2U ZFE, so efficient. It's a Toyota. It's fine. It's fine with having a 5W30 fully synthetic, expensive oil and running to 10,000 kilometers. Up to 10,000 kilometers, that oil is starting to become a bit brown and look a bit dirtier. I change it out. But with my Land Cruiser 80 and with older vehicles, I think 5,000 kilometers is perfect. And when you hit 5,000 kilometers, you also change your oil filter, and those engines will really appreciate those regular intervals, and it'll help them remain efficient. But the more modern your vehicle is, you could sort of stretch that 10,000 kilometers. But why don't you just go to the front of your vehicle, check the dipstick, check your fluids, and be regular with this stuff. Don't fear to get into this stuff and get your hands a bit dirty so that you can know this stuff, because that's the only way to understand it. And what I have here is actually Toyota ATF. This is T4 transmission fluid. This is what I use for my Land Cruiser transmissions. This is one of the best synthetic transmission fluids that Toyota themselves provide. It comes in the metal cans, and that's what you guys should be using if you have a Toyota, if you have a Land Cruiser, and if you need to flush your transmission fluid, which I will be doing another video on how often you should change transmission fluid. So this video has been on engine oil, and remember guys, engine oil is much more forgiving than many of the other oils. You can't put the wrong transmission fluid in your car, it'll mess your transmission, but you can put the wrong oil in your car and still run your car. It might just be a bit harder on your seals. You have to remember, every manufacturer have built their engines and tested them based on a specific weight of oil that they have used, and that's why they are able to recommend a specific oil that the customer should use, to get the maximum life of the vehicle. But if you stick to these intervals and you regularly service your vehicle, you're going to get many kilometers out of it, and you're going to get a lot of useful life out of your vehicle. And even if you're buying into a used vehicle, just make sure you switch these things out and stick to a regular service maintenance schedule or interval, and your vehicle will really reward you. I really love mechanical items and how rewarding they can be over time if you just maintain them properly. So these are just some quick insights, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're enjoying about the channel. As you guys know, weekly videos, just doing this, of course, as a hobby. We love cars on this channel. Here in Kenya, this is Masai Gaines, checking out.